I'm Meredith Blackwell, and I'm going to interview Ulf Thrane, and he is from Norway, Denmark. Denmark. I last saw him in Thailand, and so that must have been 4 years ago at the International Mycological Congress there. It would have been the 10th one. So we're going to talk for a little bit. Okay, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Denmark. I'm
Okay.
born and bred Dane.
And never left?
Never left. Never left for a long time. In my professional life, I've had a small sabbatical, but I'm born and bred in Denmark by Danish parents. Went to school in Denmark, public schools in Denmark, high schools in Denmark, university in Denmark, and made my bachelor, master's, and PhD at the Technical University in Denmark.
Okay. Is that on an island?
That's on the island where Copenhagen is located.
Okay.
It's called Sjælland in Danish, or Sealand in English.
Yeah.
And that's actually where I live today. I mean, on this island, I live 60 kilometers north of Copenhagen City.
Okay. When I was at LSU, there was a man from there who worked with nematodes, nematode trapping fungi, to try to kill nematodes in cattle farms.
Yeah.
Did you know him?
No, I didn't actually. I did
Yeah.
not know him.
It's been quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, after you got your degree, what did you do?
Well, I got the degree in as a Master of Science, actually within mycology, because I was studying a chemical engineer. That was what it was called at that time. I think today it would be a biotechnologist or something like that. And I had courses with my former supervisor, Ole Filtenborg, who was a food microbiologist, but working with filamentous fungi.
Wow.
So that really triggered me. It's not a long time story that I was from a mycological orientated family. It simply came to me during my studies at the university.
Okay. So you're an accidental mycologist.
You could call it that.
Me too.
Yeah.
So then you got your first job.
I did, yeah. I mean, the Danish system is quite simple and straightforward. So I simply got my first position, actually as a PhD student, it would be today, shortly after my degree with a Master of Science in filamentous fungi and chemotaxonomy.
Oh.
So that was the driver at that time at our university, that to use chemical profiling for taxonomy of molds in food and feed.
Did you do chromatography or?
We did chromatography. We started, I mean, those were the days. I mean, it's way back in time.
Yeah.
So it was thin layer chromatography, glass plates, even homemade glass plates at those times, and made chromatography. Later on, it developed together with high performance liquid chromatography and mass spec recently.
So have you changed techniques?
I've changed a lot of techniques because actually I've changed my entire career has changed recently. But those days at the Technical University, it changed as the technique or technology developed together with the rest of the mycology, so-called mycology group at those days. And we decided quite early that all these molecular techniques that was popping up in the 80s, 90s, around 2000, that would not be us. We better stick to our chemical background and then collaborate with people doing molecular work.
Yeah.
And
so who do you collaborate with?
So we collaborate mainly internationally with especially a lot with the former CBS, Westerdijk Institute in the Netherlands. Yeah. That was really our main collaborator. But as personally, I had an interest in fusarium, so that was a very international forum. So that means I had a lot of work together with the Penn State people, Toby Toussaint and Paul Nelson, and also the Australian Lester Burgess and Wally Marasis from South Africa. Okay. And of course the European school, so to speak, with Helga Nienberg in Berlin.
Do you continue to work with the Penn State people?
I continue to work with the Penn State people. With David Geiser, yeah. I meet him now and then, and we have.
He's here.
He's here. Yeah, I've already spoken to him. So.
Yeah.
So the fusarium world is a very international world with a lot of collaborations on and off, and That has been a driver throughout my career, or the majority of my career.
Okay, and what about the indoor air?
The indoor air, that's something new actually, because what happened is that at governmental universities, the economy is not always that good. So I was asked to leave the technical university 2 years ago in 2016. And then I spent time to figure out what to do within mycology, because that's what I would like to continue.
Yeah.
And thanks to a network globally and national network, suddenly they called back and said, well, we have a position here, or we can make a position at another university in Copenhagen area within the Danish Building Research Institute, because they have been working with indoor air quality, including fungi, for quite some time, but it has been a little down due to staffing. But now they wanted to improve it. And I said, yes, I'm ready. Why not?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so now my position has changed, my duties has changed, my task has changed from being what you would call a taxonomist-like thing to be more applied. So that means to disseminate mycological information to building structures, building inspectors, architects, governmental bodies, and also Mr. and Mrs. Denmark when they call in on our moldy phone. We have a hotline service.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. You try to dial, if you figure out the time zones, land code 45 for Denmark, 99 40 22 22, and you'll get the moldy phone.
Make sure you get this. And what is the moldy phone tell you?
The moldy phone is a hotline where everybody can call in and bring up their questions. About mold in buildings. Well, we do not consultancy work because we're a governmental university lab, but we can tell people that, oh, here's a list of consultants, please use that, or see if there's anyone near your neighborhood you can use, or here's some lawyers, here's some medical doctors, or whatever.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we have a lot of funny stories. You're laughing, that's nice.
The moldy phone, I love it.
Yeah, the moldy phone, yeah. So we have a lot of funny stories from people that really have troubles, but of course also some very sad stories of people that really are sick. I mean, there's of course people that are, let's call it more psychological sick of mold in buildings, but there's also people that I believe really are sick. As we discussed, I've discussed a lot with your colleague, Joan Bennett, about this, and I'm quite sure that she is right, that there's something, sick building syndrome exists.
Yeah, I had friends in Baton Rouge, and they couldn't sleep in their house anymore. They had to move out. But at the same time, after one of the hurricanes, I had a tree fall through my roof.
Yeah.
And we fixed the roof, but I didn't realize that I had mold in closets that I hadn't seen. Yeah. And I was fine, as far as I know.
Yeah,
so it affects people differently.
It affects people a lot, and so actually I see, even I had this what's called dramatic change in my career. Yeah. I see now as a mission. I know it's maybe a little fluffy word.
Good,
it's a mission to help other people and to make all these new guidelines, to make it good methods for sampling, for identification, and being a taxonomist, I understand what all our colleagues here at this meeting, what they tell. I mean, with all the phylogenetics and the hundreds and hundreds or thousands and thousands of new species popping up. But the big question is, what do they do out there to us or to the buildings? And that's really a challenge, I think.
And that's sort of what Lynn Boddy talked about this morning, you know, to find out what's going on.
What's going on?
To identify and make lists.
And I see, I mean, being part of the game for many, many years, even I said that we did not do, or I didn't do myself, sequencing. But now I feel that it is as if this area has moved into, let's call it the next phase, that while sequencing, everybody can do a sequence. I mean, you just do it.
Send it off.
So send it off, and it comes back. But the next step will be functionality, ecology, as we heard Tom Brown said in one of the plenary. It was excellent. And I think that's coming up. I've just been waiting for that. Well, there's always gene prediction, or there's been gene predictions, and now they know they code for this and that. But the next thing will be, how does these organisms work, function out there? And I think that's really missing. And we miss people that are, let's call it biologists, working with the organism. Organism knowledge is missing. There's so many that knows these 4 letters, A, C, T, G, and G, but I mean, the biology is missing.
So how many people work in your lab?
In my lab, well, there's actually only me as a mycologist.
Okay.
But the good thing is that being in a new place, I know the people that are working 2 floors below, they are fungal biotechnologists. So my ID card works. I can sneak into their labs.
So you collaborate?
I collaborate a lot. And the university, Aalborg University, where I am now, they really encourage us to work, between departments.
Good. Yeah. So is Brigitte downstairs?
No, Brigitte is still located at the Technical University, together with Jens Friesvald, which is about 10 miles from where I am.
Is Friesvald still working?
Friesvald is still working, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone was trying to find him the other day, and I used that
he's around.
Yeah.
He's around. I'll catch him.
Anyway. So, anyway, what do you plan to do? Do you plan to go on working a long time? Or?
Well, being 61, I won't work forever.
Do whatever guess.
Yeah. But as long as I'm happy to go to work, as long as there's projects and the department, university wants me to work, I'll be working.
Do you have an age limit?
No, not anymore.
Yeah, we don't either in the United States.
As long as you can, I wouldn't say as long as you can stand on your feet, but as long as you perform. As long as you perform.
Yeah, then they're happy.
And performance, that's doing teaching, writing papers, attracting money, looking for funding, and activities, then you can keep on working.
That's good.
And at my department, there's people that have been on retirement for many, many years, and they're still popping in a couple of days a week. But I will not say that I'll do that forever, because I know that having through this career, dramatic change in career, that you never know how you will respond when you actually see it.
Yeah.
But why not? I love mycology. I even also love, residual-mycete mycology, through forest mycology. Even, I have to, now the camera is rolling, I have to tell you a little secret.
Tell me.
When I was a kid, I had an aunt who she had no kids, and she was so afraid that all her nephews and nieces should die of eating fly agaric. So when I was a kid, I was scared to death by fly agaric. Even as a grown-up, I had to force myself to pick up a fly agaric each fall and simply just touch it. Which was silly, because in my daily life, I worked with fungi that were much more toxic. Even when my kids grew up, they were running in the forest, and they really loved if they could say, "Dad, look there at the right," and suddenly it just stuck me. My heart nearly stopped beating.
They were teasing you.
They were teasing me, but now it's okay. But I have to admit that I still think of my family member that really gave me this fear in life, so to speak, of the fly agaric. I love these fly agaric now, but still, I force myself each year to just pick up one.
It's a wonder that you ever became a mycologist.
It is, yes, because I'm not out of mycological background in my family.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was an airline captain, and my mom was a teacher in public school. So
maybe that kind of led you that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I never noticed a fungus until I was in graduate school.
No.
Never saw one. Don't remember it.
No,
Certainly no fly agarics.
When I started to study at the Technical University, as I said, it was to become a chemical engineer, and that was due to a friend of my mom that started there as a late education system, and said, why not do that? Because that was back in the 70s. Being a wild teenager, thingy and with long hair to my shoulders. And
Whoa.
yeah, no pictures. I have no pictures, unfortunately.
No.
Well, at least I can may find one. Send it to you.
Yeah, do. I would love to see that.
So it was really, as I said, a coincidence that during, let's call it, I matured during my studies and ran into these guys, Jens Friiswald and Ole Filtenborg, who actually did the food mycology thing, and suddenly I just saw something there. Otherwise, but that's the way it is in life, and I like that. It's been wonderful. I love mycology.
Me too.
And I love being at meetings, and I love meeting you and all the other gang around here.
No, it's a good meeting, but they're all good.
Yeah.
All good. So, well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Meredith. It's been a pleasure.